Time for the Tesla and the Palantir weekly update. And going to start off with Tesla as usual and starting with the daily chart just to show you what really happened. So, I posted on X today that I wanted to see a weekly candle close above 431, and that's essentially because the Ichimoku baseline is at 430.79. So I wanted to see a daily candle close above that, not necessarily a weekly, just so it could be above all indicators. But I think that would have been too easy and people could be too optimistic. So I think what they did is just sell it off into the close to make sure it closed below it. So then there's a little bit of mystery for the 3 day weekend on which direction it's really going to go. So that kind of means your support is down here at the 408.52. So it could come back down there next week, right? And also your resistance is still the 430.79. So perhaps it just needs a little bit more time, just a few more days to get closer to the cloud before time or before it wants to go higher, right? That's basically what my point of view is from this, but support held perfectly with this blue line. And yeah, it was just a late day sell off to close it back below levels, so people would not be too optimistic going into the weekend. So now that that's settled, let's look at the weekly chart, and we can see that the weekly candle actually closed above the conversion line. So when you look at a week to week momentum indicator, it's back above all levels, right? It's above all the indicators and even the conversion line right there at 407.56. So this is nothing to worry about. And most importantly, guys, it's back above the previous all-time high at 414.50. That was my number one focus to close above for the week, and it did that. So despite the daily sell-off, the week over week was a major improvement here, especially closing the week back above this conversion line. So I don't think there's anything to worry about. And that just means your support is still in the lower 400s. So if it went back down there, that would not be a surprise at all. And next here is Palantir, and Palantir actually closed above the support as well. So, or it was a previous resistance, right? Because last week it closed below, this week it closed back above. So that means it got flipped back to a support. So 69.15 is still your support. Now, this is beautiful, right? It was a good breakout, a wonderful back test with a liquidity grab underneath, and I don't think it really needs to go lower anymore. And I'll show you why in the next screen. But first, let me show you the Ichimoku cloud. And when we put on the Ichimoku cloud here, it almost closed back above this conversion line right here. And you can see the number at 7182, but price closed at 7177. So unlike Tesla, how Tesla closed above its weekly conversion line, Palantir actually closed below it. So this kind of means it could still be in a tight range going into next week. So we'll see how next week really opens. So it looks like they didn't really want to close everything too bullish going into the 3 day holiday. So it looks like there could be some more room to retest levels and build a base maybe on top of the 69 level to possibly go higher. So I'm not worried about it though, because it did reclaim the 69.15 and it could just wick below next week, or it could just open up higher and keep going. It doesn't matter to me because my longer term target is once again the 94 and the $100 range. And I am holding for the hundreds. I don't care about the day to day activity right here. So this does not matter to me at all. And the more important thing is it's back above support. So that's the number we're going to focus on next week, the 69.15. And now, why I think it's not going to go lower than this down here is because of my log scale GAN that I show you here. So what happened is price went up to the blue level, tried to break out, got rejected with the bearish engulfing candle last week. And then this week it went a little bit lower, but all it did is retest the bottom arc here and it held. So I don't think it needs to go lower than this, right? It doesn't, it could maybe come back down and go down the arc for a couple more weeks, but that's still around the same price. So it doesn't really matter to me. So my focus is on what's above, and what's above is like the $78 level up here, just basically flipping that to a support and then going higher. So I think it's just in the middle of a range now. It might stay in this range for some time, but the chart is still super bullish, and I still expect it to break out and continue higher. It's just going to take maybe a few more weeks or months or whatever to build that strength and break through the previous all-time highs. So just be patient with Palantir. It's a super bullish chart, and the way the candle closed today is very, very bullish. And for both Tesla and Palantir, the way they close the week is actually still very bullish. So I would not worry about anything with these charts short term, because longer term, the higher targets are still intact.